It's insane. Greetings Wanderer, this is Atlas here and welcome to The Void. Today I'm going to be reacting and breaking down a song called Daughter of the Dark God from the original soundtrack of Octopath Traveler. This is a very special request because it's one of this month's coffee personal requests, and this one comes from Velfar, and the message says, "My request will be a bit different this time. I want you to review the one they call the Witch/Daughter of the Dark God from the game Octopath Traveler. They are the themes for phase 1 and 2 of the last boss. The thing is, they are the same song played in two different ways. I hope you will not only review the song, but analyze the contrast between the two versions." Okay, Vale, thank you very much for your request and of course your continuous support. However, technically this is two songs, but I am going to pick Daughter of the Dark God because I've seen some traction for that track in the YouTube comments. Some people want me to do this track also. So today I'm going to be doing Daughter of the Dark God, and probably in the future I can do the one they call the Witch, and hopefully when I do that one we can compare and make the contrast in between the two tracks on that video. Okay, so this is going to be the first time I'm going to be breaking down a song from Octopath Traveler. I know it's been a long time since some people have wanted me to do a song from this franchise, so I'm looking forward to it. Okay, onward. Okay, Daughter of the Dark God from Octopath Traveler. Boom. It starts with super high energy. I like how the organ and the singing are almost unison. Wow, that's a great range. Wow, that arrangement in the cello was insane. I kinda saw that coming. This part sounds so Nobuo or Uematsu. I mean, it's probably him, because this part, that part is like him. I mean, the arrangement, that part, the cello with the guitar, is insane. The leitmotif is super beautiful. This got to be Nobuo. Okay, and then it fades out. All right, there we have it. Yeah, I think this it has to be Nobuo Uematsu, because those arrangements, like the one that we heard in the cello with the guitar, you know, those are so much of the progressive rock influence that Nobuo brings to his music. Let's break it down. Okay, so in the breakdown, I would like to first address something in regards to Nobuo Uematsu, okay? I did a little bit of research and I found out that Nobuo Uematsu did not compose the music for this particular video game, but it was Yasunori Nishiki, okay? However, I have to point out that the reason why I said that Nobuo Uematsu probably was the composer of the track, it's because, well, it has arrangements that sound very much like Nobuo Uematsu. However, in my research, I found out that Yasunori Nishiki is, you know, like a newer generation of composer that came after Nobuo, let's say. Well, not to say that Nobuo is like out of the game or anything, but certainly it's like a new breed, you know, of composers. And what it's probably happening in here is that we are able to see and hear the impact that Nobuo Uematsu is already having, or has had probably for a number of years, in new composers that probably even wanted to become a music composer because of a work that he did in a previous video game. Certainly, Final Fantasy VII is among his most recognized works, I would say. Probably, if not his most recognized work in terms of popularity. Maybe it's not his best work in terms of musical compositions, who knows. I'm not really going down that road because I don't really know. But certainly it's one of the most recognizable ones and the most acknowledged as one of his best works, at least. So Yasunori, I think he has like the influence that comes from Nobuo Uematsu, okay? And I'm going to point out why I think he builds on that premise and actually elaborates a little bit further with his own style of composition, because I think that even though Yasunori takes from the influence of Nobuo Uematsu, bringing, you know, the progressive rock influences we heard, the organ in the track, along with this progressive sections to make transitions and so on and so forth, which we're going to be talking more in depth later. He adds layers of symphonic or orchestral music on top of it, but also the lyrical singing, because well, I haven't heard, of course, all the catalog of music of Nobuo Uematsu, but it seems to me that Nobuo centers most of the time on doing more of choir arrangements, but not so much bring actual singing in the songs, unless probably it is required by the company or something like that, of course. But to me, I know it's a kind of a long shot to say that from one song, right? But Yasunori, in this case, probably to not, kind of copy, let's say, or be perceived as a copy of Nobuo Uematsu, of course, had to bring some of his spiciness, let's say, of course, what makes him a composer isolated from Nobuo Uematsu. And I think that the lyrical singing is and the composition in the drums probably is one of the things that brought that and put him outside of being like a, Nobuo Uematsu kind of copycat or something like that, which he's absolutely not. I think that he certainly has the influence from Nobuo, because, I mean, who wouldn't want to be influenced by Nobuo since he's a great composer, right? But brings things of his own into the music, which I think it's a fantastic thing, and something that I would have done in his position, of course. Now let's talk about some of the very specific things that I think Yasunori took as an influence from Nobuo Uematsu, which are these particular sections. So I'm going to put it right here. So yeah, all these progressive rock influences that you hear I think are pretty much influenced by the Nobuo Uematsu current, let's say, okay? And that's probably the main reason why I thought this particular track was composed by Nobuo Uematsu. And however, when I heard like the lyrical singing and other aspects in the drumming specifically, I thought that maybe Nobuo is trying to do something that he doesn't do often, But as it turns out, it was another composer. However, before I talk about that, I would like to talk briefly about the overall concept of the song, because it's a song that starts at a very high energy, and I think it's supposed to start that way because, of course, there's I suppose this is the second phase of that boss that Vale talked about. So of course that has like a precedent in terms of how this particular track is composed, because it has to follow something that was before it, right? So of course this is a boss battle. It has to be, well, it doesn't has to be, but certainly a boss battle gotta have an enhanced sense of conflict, because it's something very particular in the game, right? It's like a very specific moment in the game that is very important. So of course the premise of the track, which is something that permeates the whole track, is being super high energy, has a lot of accent with choirs and so on and so forth. The transitions are quite abrupt, but at the same time, I talked about this in a previous breakdown that I did. Transitions that are abrupt, it does not necessarily mean that they are bad. It's just that they are like creating or enhancing that sense of conflict, because when you have a transition that comes more naturally, let's say, or comes by a subtractive kind of method in which you start taking out layers of instruments or arrangements in the song to be able to make that transition to other part, wouldn't have make so much sense, I would say, in terms of the composition, because like I said before, this is a super high energy a conflict a kind of song, and this the second phase of a boss battle. So if it is the second phase, it means that maybe you got the boss like half health, or it's closer to being defeated, and therefore the stakes are higher. So in that regard, making those kind of abrupt transitions and having these super big accents with choirs on top of it actually makes a good case onto why Yasunori made those decisions, of course. Now, finally, I would like to talk about the things that I think Yasunori brought to the table as his own thing. Okay, first of all was the lyrical singing, the opera kind of singing, the lyrical singing. And I think that one of the things that I liked the most about what he did in the song was making like a unison part with the organ, with the chord progression in the organ, along with what the singer was singing. And I'm gonna put a brief example here so you know what I mean. I think that was a fantastic idea because that brought forward even more the leitmotif. Of course, the leitmotif being sang by a human being, well, obviously, it's not going to be sang by a whale or something. I mean, just by the fact that someone is singing, that's going to be taking a certain point, a spotlight, okay? Which it actually takes, because when you hear the singer when the singer comes into the song, you can hear that everything tames down. The rock, the orchestra, and everything tames down, so the singing can shine and be the spotlight of the track at that precise moment. But that is very much enhanced mostly by the chord progression that you hear in the organ, that has this sort of arrangement. I don't know if I should call it voicings or something, that kind of follows or follows like very closely what the melody that we hear in the leitmotif that is sung by this incredible performer. So I think that's one of the things that one of the touches of Yasunori Nishiki brought to the table. The other one is the drumming, because the drumming is not as complex, okay? I think he tried to have sections in which the drumming was more of a progressive drumming, but other sections that were like straight punk rock. I kid you not. And that's one of the other quintessential differences that I find in between, Nobuo, Uematsu, and Yasunori. It is that Nobuo could have probably maintained the progressive drumming along the track, but probably Yasunori has also kind of a mixed background in terms of his rock liking, let's say, and brought a little bit of punk rock drumming into the track. And I'm going to put the section in which he uses punk rock drumming and the section where he uses more of a prog drumming, which it's more related to how he uses the hi-hat and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's check it out. Yeah, so as you can hear there, quite a remarkable difference in between the feel of one thing and the feel of another thing. Even though what you hear on top is quite similar or is the same thing, the drumming is changing that completely. So you can see how changing something in the percussion section of a track can't change drastically the feel of the song. So yeah, I did enjoy the song. I think that it's amazing that we already have like another breed of composers that are being influenced by Nobuo Uematsu in this case. But also overall, like it puts a perspective into how video games have been around already for quite some time, and this only speaks to the relevance that is carrying on forward for video games. Like, we have a new breed of composers that are being influenced by the likes of Nobuo, Uematsu, and that's going to be carry on and on and on as the video game industry grows, which is certainly doing right now quite a lot. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give this track a golden badge. I think it's gonna be a golden badge for me, okay? So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and share it with your friend. Also, please don't forget to visit my Patreon in case you want to sway the vote towards what I'm going to be breaking down next. Also, my Ko-fi profile in case you want to make a one-time contribution to the channel, or my Ko-fi store where you can request one of these bad boys the first of each month and at 1 p.m. EST. And my Teespring shop where you can get merch and all that jazz. And of course, ex nihilo nihil fit.